What's up? Good morning. Welcome to a new market update in which we'll be discussing the cryptocurrency markets. And today we're going to discuss a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Enjin because that one is listed on Coinbase. But before we begin, do not forget to subscribe beneath and also like this video as that's helping me a lot to grow this channel and to celebrate a little new target that I've hit. I've hit 200k followers on Twitter. Nice. If you do not follow me yet on Twitter, do that beneath. There's a link through which you can follow me. Then next, yesterday we saw a drop down and we're going to the charts right now in which we can see that we've lost the critical support zone. That critical support zone has been tested several times. However, after so many tests, it usually fails to hold support. And that's what we saw in the drop down yesterday. And because of that, the altcoins were dropping down significantly. And is that a bad case? No. If something ran up with 100%, it usually comes down heavily with 25 to 35%. And if you see in any of those expansions that Bitcoin has made, through those expansions, there are not many support levels in between that has to be tested. So when it starts to expand so fast, it comes down heavily as well, as there are just those big gaps in between the price action in itself. So when a certain altcoin is making a 2x in a day, it usually comes down a lot. And when it comes down a lot, that's the actual moment that you want to get into those markets to avoid FOMO. As you know, you always should have a plan and a direction and a target and a risk management if you want to start trading in crypto. And if you have money that you can't afford to lose, then you would not even be touching these markets as a trading opportunity. And then I just save your money and use the money that you have to use for other purposes and just slowly scale into Bitcoin with a tiny portion every month. But towards Bitcoin, we did see that we've lost the critical support zone, and then we still had one level more before we start to slam dunk down. Because yesterday I've told you that once we lose this green support zone, I think we're going to have a further drop down. Well, that drop down is avoided in the case that 55k is currently holding as support. That's also a daily block that is literally holding right now. If this is lost, I think we're going to see anything in this region here as a first test. So most likely we will be getting something like this in which we start to bottom out, which might still be the case, as right now the critical level to break is not the previous support zone. So that's something that you might be misunderstanding here. This green zone around 56.7 is not the critical level to break. And I'll switch to the 2-hour level. This entire region here, that's critical to break right now, given that that's the recent breaker before it started to run down. So this entire construction was the compression before it started to break south, right? Now flip it back towards a trend that's upwards. In this case, we see that I'll just give a very obvious example in this spectrum, and then I'll just get a clean chart going. Let's see here. So when you see a certain upwards move, you want to see the price drop back down towards historical price action to get a confirmation. So this is the previous breaker where the price compresses before it starts to run further up. In every case, you can see that this previous breaker is the critical level to hold on to. If that fails to hold, you can see that the trend is switching. So in this case, you can see it on every run up as well. So even here is a very small breaker and it starts to consolidate before it continues moving. These breakers are very important to watch. Here's the exact same example. Run up, comes back down to test the breaker, which is the critical level to hold on to. Another breaker, critical level to hold on to. That's how you derive those previous price action targets where you want to get the entry going. So in this case, if you understand price action when it starts to run up, it's nothing else or nothing different in the price that runs down. The same breakers apply as well. So given that this price action here is the previous block of compression, that is the critical level to break through. If we can't break through this level, I'm assuming we're getting another test of support here. And then once again, you want to see whether this level is going to sustain when we get a breakdown, a failure of breakdown, bullish divergence, or just holding, in which we can test this resistance again. If that does not happen, I think we're going to see any of these two levels. Very easy to approach, very understandable to approach. Similarly, we have seen this breaker here that didn't break through. Same approach is currently acting in this 58k level zone, right? So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin right now. And then next, we saw yesterday that Coinbase Pro effect is still working out very nice. So from now on, I'm going to focus myself on a coin that's going to be listed on Coinbase, and then I exit scam you all. I'm kidding. But the effect is still taking place. We saw it with Matic. We saw it with, Skill and Cardano. These all ran up on this news. And today or yesterday we saw that 1inch, Enjin, NKN and Origin token were listed on Coinbase, and it actually gave an effect where the price bounced up significantly. The one with the lowest movements was Enjin, as this one ran up 45%. But when you go towards, for instance, Origin protocol, and you go towards the 4-hour or 2-hour time frame, you can see that the price action is significant here. Still, beautiful thing on OGN here, and what we always discuss is previous high OB. We just discussed it. Test here, entry point, stop loss, run up, take profit. Massive trade. If you want to learn more about trading in general, do not forget to check out the group link that's beneath, where we have an educational platform and where we educate you in general. However, Enjin, we have discussed it in the video that's hated the most, in which we said Veracity, Enjin and Shidis are not an entry right now. And that's because I've given those level or entry points based on historical price action once again, yes. So in this case, we said, okay, we've got scale into swing trade opportunities and day trade opportunities based on historical price action once again. So this level is a critical breaker. If that is lost, we might be even thinking about this level more or less, as this one is usually getting skipped. Price comes down there, gets an entry, you got some day trade opportunities, and now we got there again. So deriving your entry points is critical in trading in general. So if you have your entry points the right way, that is usually the first step in getting becoming a consistent trader. Actually, you have to get a risk managed, etc. The right way. But if you want to start nailing your trades, entries are critical. Right now, Enjin has hit this level, ran up, broke above this previous high, flipped it, and now we're just consolidating. Are we going to continue moving from there? Are we going to sustain this momentum? I guess not. I think after the Coinbase trading activates or anything around that, I think we're going to have a drop down. And I'm focused more or less on the level that's around 235. So this is the level that I'm going to be looking at in general for the potential entry point, and this is the next one in as well. So if you have a Coinbase listing that happened, do not chase green candles. Never do that. It's FOMO. You don't make money out. You can make money out of it, but 9 out of 10 times it's just not the right approach. Then we've also got Ethereum, and Ethereum is currently just consolidating. And we have discussed Ethereum previously, in which Ethereum is just doing a sideways movement, right? So we've discussed this yesterday. This previous high is something that I'm going to look at for Ethereum. And if that holds, or we're getting some sideways action, we might even get all the way down here. Depends on Bitcoin. I think we're going to have a new acceleration. Why is that? Oh, I have to zoom out a little. We got those nice higher highs, and we've got those higher lows, in which currently we are in a consolidation phase like we see here. After which, if we are going to make this sideways action, out of nowhere it should be expanding, probably around the new release of the upgrades. And when that happens, I'm assuming we're going to see 0.6. If you calculate where Bitcoin is standing around that time frame, I guess it's about 60, 70k. Ether should be running towards 3.5k to 4.5k based on this based on this estimate. Ether USDT currently just flipping a level. The bearish divergence is active. I know it's there, but it's not valid until Ethereum starts to make lower lows. Currently, we are holding this critical level. I'm assuming we're going to have a run towards anything in this region, just like we discussed Bitcoin in the beginning. If that fails to hold on to, I'm assuming we get something like this. And then I'm looking for entry points around this region. So, critical point to end this video is 1. If something drops down, you want to look for entries. 2, if something bounces up after that drop, it's usually not an entry anymore, so you should be patient. And 3, if something gets listed on Coinbase, avoid FOMO and wait for good entry points. If it runs already, you're too late. So, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like this video, to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And I'll see you again tomorrow on a new video. Bye bye.